gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
And that's right, everybody. Welcome back once again to another edition of the Best Seat in the House podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rob Kramer, joined by my co-host, Daniel Bobo Carlin. We're here for a special Wrestlemania edition today. And Dan, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good. Just picked up some little snacks for night one of Wrestlemania. Okay, kind of shocked me how they do this thing 2 nights now. It's like freaking they're making us pay more money to attend WrestleMania these days.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that, especially if you're going, now you're going to have to decide which night to go if you can't go to both. So I guess that adds a little bit of complications to the matter, but definitely always an event, WrestleMania, like even people that don't watch wrestling on a regular basis or just tune in once a year. It's almost like, Catholics that only go to church on Easter and Christmas. If you're a wrestling fan, even in the smallest sense, you're going to tune into WrestleMania, right?
Yep, exactly. And I feel like it's a little easier now to access it now, being the fact that if you just happen to, for whatever reason, subscribe to Peacock, you already have it as part of the package. Instead of having to do the old school, remember back in the day, you would go, you would record it and then pass around the tape to others who didn't pay to watch it. Remember those days? You would have
Yeah,
one person record it. Yeah, you would have one
no
person
doubt about
record
it.
or you'd stop by someone's house to watch it. I remember more the passing around the VHS tape than inside my house, but I still remember that back in the day. Or there was the guy like the quote along like Wrestlemania Real Show. I know a guy who has the cable box.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with you, man. I remember those days, and I remember definitely, especially being a kid, as those being most of exactly what you're talking about. How I would see the pay-per-views and everything would be from a friend tape trading it to me or something like that. And it wasn't until I was older that I could actually afford the pay-per-view itself.
Yeah, but wait a minute, I forgot another one. Of course, you can't forget the VHS releases. Remember, they released the pay-per-views on VHS. I still got a couple of those DVDs myself.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. But Dan, there's one thing I do want to address right off the bat here is that we have a chatter in the room right now, PhD 42 586, and he says that Rob and Bobo look like they're Team Yeet. I don't know about that, my friend. What do you think, Danny? You Team Yeet? Which Uso are you going for tonight?
I'm not. I'm on the one the opposite of that one. I don't think I'm Team Yeet.
So you're not Team Yeet either?
No.
All right, because I didn't think so, because I'm not Team Yeet. So you know what though? With that, let's get right into the card tonight, man, because we got a lot of exciting things going on this WrestleMania tonight. As I said, it's our WrestleMania 40 special. So it's crazy. The first WrestleMania was in '85 at Madison Square Garden. They had WrestleMania 10 at Madison Square Garden as well. WrestleMania 20 was right back there. But since then, they have really grown out of a 20,000 seat place. As great as Madison Square Garden is, they're doing football stadiums these days, man. WrestleMania 30 was in Louisiana at the Superdome, and now WrestleMania 40 is in Philadelphia, where the Eagles play at Lincoln Financial Field tonight. So it's just crazy how much bigger and bigger and bigger it keeps getting.
Yeah, it is, and I have to say, I know this is a couple of years down the line, but you know what they should really do for WrestleMania 50? They should do something like hold. They should hold night one at the Garden, and then night two should be at MetLife Stadium. I think that's what they should do for for WrestleMania 50. Like, kind of give like a little nod to the where it began.
I agree. At the very least, it should be in New York, and they should definitely have events at Madison Square Garden, even if it's not, you know, the an actual night. Because if they do a night there, they're still sacrificing at least 50,000 in attendance. But you could do the Hall of Fame there, and they could have a bunch of events there. Maybe even Raw and SmackDown, like they did with Philadelphia.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I just feel they need. I just feel they need to. They need to definitely do something and incorporate the Garden as that, because that's where it began. And let's another little thing people don't realize about the WrestleMania, they didn't know if it was going to be even a success. Back before WrestleMania, WWE was just a local show, a local wrestling show in a tri-state area in the Northeast, and Vince McMahon took a big chance with this pay-per-view, and it did very well. It did way better than people expected.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that, man. And it took off from there. It's a piece of Americana now, and now it's two nights, which as we talked about right off the bat, I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that. Still, it's taken a little bit of getting used to, no doubt about that. But we got night one coming up now, so let's get started. The countdown starts at 5 p.m. The show starts at 7 on Peacock now, as you all know, used to be on pay-per-view. Back in 1985, it was closed circuit TV, so it was even harder to find. But pay-per-view they had for quite some time, up until I think the last WrestleMania on pay-per-view was in 2013, or primarily, because they still offer it every year. It's just not the primary option, because most people got the WWE Network, which was available 10 years ago, or now Peacock, that they have the streaming rights deal with for the foreseeable future. So that's going on tonight. Starting just a few minutes over there. All the festivities getting kicked off. So let's start this thing off, Dan. As we'll kick things off. Actually, we might as well go with Uso versus Uso. This is as they call him these days, main event Jey Uso. Jimmy Uso going against his brother versus brother, the sons of former WWE superstar and Hall of Famer Rikishi. Um, Definitely a notable match, no doubt about that. What do you think about this match so far? It's definitely got a lot of history built into it, and what do you think?
I think this one's definitely gonna be. I feel this one's gonna be an entertaining match. I feel like they're doing a good job playing the whole sibling rivalry thing to the whole angle to it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you. So who do you got in the match then? I mean, uh, Jey Uso is being positioned as the good guy in this match, and he's the guy the whole crowd's getting behind. He's the Yeet guy, in case you're wondering. And Jimmy Uso still is in the bloodline with The Rock and Roman Reigns, who we'll be getting to in a little bit. But obviously, his brother in real life, or cousin, I guess they call him in the storyline, Solo Sikoa. So a lot going on in this storyline, Dan. What do you think? Who gets the W in this match?
I just think Jimmy Uso's gonna get the W in this one.
Oh, you're thinking Jimmy. So you think Jimmy Uso from the bloodline is winning this one?
Yeah, I just have a feeling that's gonna happen.
That's now that you mention it, actually, that's probably the obvious answer. I probably am just thinking too much of going with the baby face, the good guy. But yeah, I think I have to say that I think that I'm just going to go, because you're going with Jimmy. I'm going to go with Jay, main event Jey Uso. So I think that's all we need in this thing right now. But head to head is definitely good. We'll have to keep track of who gets the most right. But I'm going Jay. You got Jimmy. Who knows? It would have been interesting. It would have been interesting if their dad Rikishi, who we saw at the Hall of Fame ceremony last night. It would be interesting if they got him involved in some way tonight. Do you think there's going to be any outside interference in that match? Like maybe Solo gets involved, or possibly even Rikishi himself? What do you think?
I think there could be there could be. I've been knowing WrestleMania. They're always down for throwing some little bit of a surprise. So I think there could be some kind of outside interference from Rikishi himself, just for old time's sake.
I could see that. I could see that. And do our audience a favor, Bo. Give him a yeet.
Yeah, I said no yeet tonight.
So you're not going to do it?
That-
No yeet?
yeah, I'm a little bit I'm a little bit shocked today because I just had to do a bunch of stuff today.
Okay, so that explains why you can't say yeet right now. I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So let's keep it rolling along here, Dan. And we got also a couple of big championship matches. The first one we'll get into right now is the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match, which has about 100 guys in it. And it's the Judgment Day versus DIY versus the Awesome Truth, which is R-Truth and The Miz, against the New Day, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and the New Catch Republic. If you're not familiar with them, that's also Pete Dunne and the big strong boy Tyler Bate. So we got those guys, and it's all in a ladder match. It's going to be a phenomenal match. Everybody in this match is, a pretty good athlete, obviously, and they definitely are worthy of being in this match. Everybody. So what do you think, Dan? Do you think the Judgment Day is able to hold on to their championship, or do you think one of these other teams are going to come out on top?
I think one of these other tag teams are probably going to come out on top. Probably going to be New Day, just my guess.
Ah, okay. So what makes you lean New Day?
I don't know, just something about the WrestleMania, about the unexpectedness.
Okay, I can see that. See, I'm gonna go in this one with the Awesome Truth, which is the Miz and R-Truth. Those guys are two of the most entertaining guys on the roster, and I kind of feel like over the last couple of months, these storylines have been leading to these guys having a big moment at WrestleMania. They were a tag team, you know, 10, 12 years ago when they were both, much younger and just trying to really make a name for themselves. This was after The Miz had his championship run come to an end, and they were both doing this heel gimmick. And it was a really, really, it lasted for not that long, but they ended up having some big moments, including having a big tag team match against The Rock and John Cena at Survivor Series 2011 at Madison Square Garden. So definitely, these are two guys that have been there before. They've had their big moments, and Judgment Day has held those belts for a long time. So I agree with you. I think they're coming off them, but I got a feeling that we might be seeing a nice moment from the Awesome Truth. And also, Dan, there's 6 teams in this match right now, but there are rumors that there are conflicting rumors going around right now on the internet, on the IWC, if you will. And what they're saying is that the Hardy Boys are potentially free agents right now. Now, it was one of the most, phenomenal moments in the last decade at WrestleMania, and definitely on social media. It got a lot of hits too on YouTube and Twitter back in the day. But when the Hardy Boys returned, I forget which WrestleMania it was, but that was such a big moment. I want to say maybe it was 2017 or 2016, right around there. And that was in a match much like this one. When the New Day were the hosts, they introduced the Hardy Boys, and the crowd went freaking crazy. Now, with the rumors being that they're potentially free agents right now, do you think there's any chance that these guys get added to the match at the last second and it ends up being a 7-team ladder match. What do you think about that?
I think that's a real possibility. Sometimes these rumors tend to be pretty accurate. Sometimes they tend to be the worst kept secret. Would that surprise me one bit? They throw a little wrinkle in this match.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that. That it feels like one of those moments that it could be for a surprise. I'm not expecting to see it, but I think it would be a pretty cool moment if it did happen. Um, so let's keep it moving along. And the next match I got on the card here is a pretty big match overall, where it's Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill having her first real match. She was in the Royal Rumble. Uh, that was her debut match in WWE ever since coming over from AEW. And this will be her first like actual, even though it's not a one-on-one match, which you really want to say, it's a 3-on-3 match. So it's still pretty big for them and pretty big for her, especially it's the fact that it's her WrestleMania debut with Bianca Belair and Naomi, who are both pretty much established stars themselves. They're going against Damage Control. Damage Control is obviously Io Sky is the champion right now. They kicked out Bailey. They got that match going on. I think that's on night 2. But this one has the Kabuki Warriors and whatever that other girl's name is, Dakota Kai. So they have this match right now, 6-man tag, 6-woman tag. And who do you think gets the victory in this one, Dan? I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, I just think this one's probably gonna be one of those upset specials. Probably Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi.
Jade Cargill, yeah, and Naomi and Bianca. I agree with you on that. I'm going with them. I think the way that they made Bianca look strong in the in the WrestleMania match, where she had a couple of moments like that too. I do think that they'll get the win, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they also kind of start showing a little tension between them at some point, maybe even just at the end, where I could see, leading up to the Bianca and Jade match that I'm sure everybody who's booking this has in the back of their mind. Because Damage Control, I feel like, especially with Bailey leaving and everything, and how Io Sky will get to, I feel like, is going to end up losing the championship. I feel like Damage Control could be breaking up soon. So I don't think it would make much sense for them to win this match. Do you agree with that, Dan?
Yeah, I agree too. I just have a feeling it's probably bound to happen.
Yeah. So, all right, let's keep it rolling along here. And the next one we're going to hit is the big Intercontinental Championship match, man. The longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, Gunther, defending his Intercontinental Championship against Sami Zayn. Now, I'm still getting over the fact that Brock Lesnar isn't in this match, because that was the rumor to begin with. So I'm still a little bit down the fact that that's not the match we're getting. But Sami Zayn is great. I'm a big fan of Sami. But the more I think about it, I see Gunther retaining. Dan, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I just have a feeling Gunther's going to retain his Intercontinental Championship in this one. Just all signs seem to be pointing at that one.
Yeah, you think so too? Because like at first, when I was first seeing the build up to this on Monday Night Raw, it kind of felt like to me that it was a slam dunk that Sami was going to win this match. But I don't know. The closer we get to it, and the more I think about it, or maybe overthink it, I feel like Gunther is going to keep the belt. And maybe even just for the fact that WWE has in the back of their mind that, Paul Heyman even last night mentioned Brock Lesnar's name. And he was, mentioned a couple of times during that ceremony. They mentioned the 21-1 with The Undertaker, who is Brock Lesnar. So I feel like maybe, they're smoothing things over with him in any way, or bringing him back. So maybe that's going to happen. And they have that in the back of their mind. But either way, I don't feel like Gunther is coming out on top I'm sorry. I don't feel like Sammy is coming out on top over Gunter. I think even though a lot of the stuff with Chad Gable, where he's been training him, has been very entertaining, I just don't see it. Right, Dan? You definitely think that that Gunter is going to keep that belt for a little while longer, right?
Yeah, exactly. I just have a feeling it's probably gonna be just a little while longer, probably till the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that. And apparently, we have a big Gunter fan in the chat right there. So yeah, definitely with you on that, man. All right, so we'll keep it rolling along here, and as we got the IC championship over with, we got another big championship match in the women's championship. That's going to be Rhea Ripley against Becky Lynch. Um, Becky Lynch is the number one contender. She won the Elimination Chamber match to set up this match against Rhea Ripley. And obviously, in the background, they had all the Nia Jax stuff with Ray leading up to this. But she beat Bianca last year at WrestleMania. Bianca held it for a year before that. Ray's had it now for a year. So, what do you think? Does Rhea Ripley keep that championship belt, or does Becky Lynch win it for the first time in a couple of years?
I just have a feeling Becky Lynch is gonna have a big moment here in this WrestleMania. Just all of it just seems to be setting up for that.
Yeah, it seems like me and you have been agreeing on this a lot, Dan, because I actually agree with you on that. I think that Becky Lynch is primed and ready for another little run. She was out of commission for a little while when her and Seth Rollins got married and she had the baby, and so she wasn't in the championship spotlight for a little while now. But hey, it's the perfect time to put it back on her. And I think starting at WrestleMania definitely makes a lot of sense. Rhea Ripley's had a great run. She's been a really dominant champion, except for when Nia Jax kind of got the upper hand on her heading into that Australia match. She has been one of the more dominant champions that they've had in the women's division for a couple of years. So, I definitely agree with you on that one. That what's it called? That Nia Jax. I'm sorry, what am I talking about? I'm sorry that Becky Lynch is going to win the championship on this. So definitely with you. Also, keep it rolling along. Andrade and Rey Mysterio going against Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. We had last year when Rey Mysterio got put in the Hall of Fame. It was Rey and Dominic. They add a couple of really great luchadors to the mix in this year, where Andrade and Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio. Before I ask your opinion on who's going to win this match, Dan, I want to ask you: did you watch any of SmackDown last night?
Yeah, I didn't get to see both of it last night because I was a little bit tired last night. I actually had it on record.
Okay, well, no problem, because I just wanted to bring up the fact that if anybody watching did watch SmackDown, there was a scene where Dragon Lee was supposed to be the tag team partner of Rey Mysterio in this match. He's another younger luchador, but he got jumped in the back. And the first person there responding on the scene was LWO member Carlito. And something about that just came off a little fishy to me. I kind of feel like Carlito jumped Dragon Lee to try to take his spot. And I think that might come to a head in this match. I could see Carlito getting involved and helping Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio win this match, because I think Carlito wanted that spot that Andrade took. And then Andrade got that spot because, he kind of turned on Santos and Dominic when they were trying to jump Rey Mysterio in the ring. So I kind of feel like that's going to be where we're heading. What do you think about that, Dan?
Yeah, I just think that's gonna happen. I feel like that's gonna be something that's gonna be turning out to happen in this one.
So you're also going with Santos and Dominic?
Yep.
All right. All right, definitely makes a lot of sense. I mean, especially the fact that Ray beat Dominic last year at WrestleMania, so it would finally get Dominic a win over Ray. I think that definitely makes a lot of sense. And it could even feature Andrade turning on Ray again too. I'm not even 100% certain that Andrade is going to stay a babyface, but he could he could still and just maybe Carlito gets involved and costs them. All right, Dan. Now the main event of night one is a big match. It's the return of The Rock, his first official match at WrestleMania. I know he did have one technically against Redbeard, whatever his name was, a couple of years ago, 2017, I want to say, where it was like a 9-second match and he beat him with one rock bottom and pinned him. But that match aside, this is going to be his first full match in pretty much a decade. The last time he had a full match was 2013 when he had when he defended the championship and lost to John Cena at WrestleMania that year. So in the
Yep,
second year,
that one of course I remember because I was present for that one in person.
there you go. There you go. Yes, it's true. That's true. So, so obviously you saw the last match The Rock was in. This is going to be the first one since then. It's been a little while, but The Rock still looks good. He's as jacked as ever, as we saw a couple of weeks ago when he was beating the hell out of Cody Rhodes all over town, all over in the back, but by the trucks and by his van with his dog on the door. So, we saw a lot of The Rock doing a lot of bad things over the last couple of weeks. Roman Reigns has been talking a lot of trash, and Cody and Seth Rollins kind of got a little bit of revenge last night, but it wasn't against The Rock and Roman, so it really didn't matter. What do you think, Dan? What is your feeling if The Rock and Roman Reigns win the main event of WrestleMania on night 2 is a bloodline rules match, which basically just means anything goes. And, Cody, if Cody and Seth Rollins win, then the bloodline are banned from ringside during the main event of WrestleMania. Dan, what do you think?
I just feel like Cody Reigns is gonna get and Seth Rollins is gonna win this one. My gut feeling. It's just setting up for it. I think the audience badly wants to see it. There's become this feud between Cody Reigns and The Rock that's been building up this whole time. So it's my gut feeling.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. I think this is as succinct as I could see um, a breakdown of this. The Rock is the final boss. Cody is a crybaby dingus, and Seth is a clown. It's well said. Well said there. So definitely agree with that, Chad. And Dan, I definitely agree with you on that. So who are you going with in this? You're thinking Rock and Roman on night one?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I just have a feeling that's probably bound to happen night one.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense though when you think about it, because then that gives them the opportunity to get all the other players involved and still have Cody. You know, we'll get to the main event, what we think is going to happen in a minute, but you want Cody, whether he's going to win, especially if he's going to win actually, or lose, to go up against as much adversity as he could possibly stack against him. So I feel like you got to have the Rock and Roman win on night one here, and have Cody, and possibly even too. This is another thing that's going around, Dan, is that and especially in my head right now, I'm thinking it's very possible that Seth Rollins turns on Cody Rhodes on night one. What do you think about that? Is it possible that we see the heel turn from Seth Rollins? Because let's not forget, these guys, when Cody returned just a couple of years ago, the first rivalry he had was against Seth Rollins. These guys had multiple matches against each other and had a pretty heated rivalry for a little while. So it wouldn't be totally out of the ordinary if Seth Rollins decided to turn on him.
Yeah, I just feel like this is probably going to be probably one of the biggest unexpected turns in night one right here.
So you're gonna sign for that too? You think, if you had to guess right now, the likelihood of Seth Rollins turning, you'd say over 50%.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I definitely think that sounds good. Sounds good to me. It'd be nice to see that night one. And then I wonder if The Rock is going to take that belt off and smear a little bit more of Cody Rhodes' blood all over it and give it to Mama Rhodes, just like he said he was gonna. So that'd be pretty interesting, setting up for night two. And speaking of night two, let's get right into that, Dan. As night two now will be on Sunday night, also starting at 7 o'clock. So they got a pretty stacked card that night as well. And let's start off with a pretty big match that doesn't have a championship on the line in that one, Dan. As we got LA Knight, who is, like him or love him apparently, one of the more popular superstars on the roster at the moment, against AJ Styles, who's definitely a future Hall of Famer, future former WWF champion, WWE champion, and just one of the more polished wrestlers on the roster. Everybody loves AJ Styles if you're a wrestling fan. Maybe his wrestling more than his promos at times, but definitely a big AJ Styles fan. What do you think about this match, Dan? Who do you know much about LA Knight? What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I just think he's just really been moving up the ranks in the company lately, and I just feel like he's bound to have a big moment right here.
Really? So, have you seen much of him on TV and everything? Are you a fan of his at all?
Yeah, not really a fan of his, but I just been my gut feeling that he's probably from what I've seen the last couple of years, he's probably going to be he just looks like he's just moving up there.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right about that. He's definitely moving up the ranks, and a lot of people, are big fans of LA Knight. The guy gets over everything he says. The crowd repeats right back to him. So right now, going into this match, or I'm sorry, coming out of this match, you're thinking LA Knight's going to pick up the win?
Yeah, exactly. I think he's going to pick up the win in this one.
Okay. Okay. So I'm actually going to be going head to head with you on that one. I think that AJ Styles is going to win. In my head, it's kind of like 50-50, whatever way they're going to go. I know it would make a lot of sense from a booking standpoint to take LA Knight because they want to give him a big victory over a big name. So that definitely makes a lot of sense. It wouldn't surprise me if they did that. But it also kind of reminds me of the WrestleMania that AJ Styles made his debut at, where it was AJ Styles against Chris Jericho. And everybody was expecting AJ Styles to win that match because it was his first WrestleMania. He'd only been in the company for a couple of months, and people just thought it would make sense for him to get the win over Jericho. But, and rightfully so, WWE gave Jericho the win because Jericho was sticking around there, and there was a storyline that was going to play out. So it made a lot of sense. That kind of feels a little bit to me like this, where I think maybe they'll give AJ Styles the win, where a lot of people were expecting the opposite. Because too, you have to remember just the fact that LA Knight is having a match against AJ at WrestleMania. That's still a big deal for him. Last year at this time he was just starting to get over, but he I don't think he was even on the card last year. So either way, he's doing better than he was. Let's keep it rolling along here, Dan. We'll hit another championship match right now, as it's the United States Championship. The champion Logan Paul, yes, that Logan Paul, whose brother is fighting Mike Tyson in just a couple of months over the summer, will be defending his United States Championship against Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, two big names in the professional wrestling industry. Randy Orton, slam dunk future Hall of Famer. Kevin Owens, one of the biggest stars to come, to the company over the last decade. Who do you think comes down on this one, Dan? I think this one's a little bit tougher.
Yeah, I just think this one's probably going to be Kevin Owens and Randy Orton are probably going to come out on top in this one.
Well, no, it's a triple threat match.
Oh, triple threat. My mistake. Yeah, I just think this one's probably going to be Kevin Owens going to come out on top in this one.
Oh, you got KO. Okay, okay. That would make a lot of sense. That would make a lot of sense. I mean, Kevin Owens, this is a guy that had the he was in the main event of WrestleMania 2 years ago when he had the big match against Stone Cold. They had Vince McMahon. I know it's a forbidden word these days, but they had him involved. So yeah, Kevin Owens has been involved in big angles at WrestleMania before. Speaking of Chris Jericho, they had their big match there years ago. Kevin Owens has definitely had his moments. Me, on the other hand, I think Logan Paul is going to keep the title. Um, you know, Randy Orton is great and Kevin Owens are great, but um, Logan Paul, I just don't see him losing. He technically did have his first loss of his career when, I'm sorry, the second because he did lose to Roman Reigns at in one of the Saudi Arabia pay per views. But Randy Orton did pin him with the RKO at Elimination Chamber in Australia. So that was his first loss. I kind of see Logan Paul getting back in the win column after that one, possibly even pinning Randy Orton himself. So maybe he'll be calling himself the Legend Killer after this one, like Randy Orton did when he was younger. So it seems to me like Logan Paul is going to retain because I think it makes the most sense for him and the WWE.
Yeah, it just kind of looks like I could see that angle being played out also.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's true. That's true. So we got that match down right now. There's another pretty big match that they just made official the other day. That is, it kind of looks like a throwaway match, but these are guys who, Triple H definitely has a lot of high, um, confidence in because Bobby Lashley is a former WWE champion. The Street Profits are a big up and coming team that we know he's been a fan of since they were in NXT. And the final testament that they just kind of threw together over the last couple of months here, where it's Karrion Kross, who, on paper seems pretty big, and the Authors of Pain being positioned as the bad guys. What do you think about this one, Dan? This isn't one of the bigger matches on the card, but it'll be a decent match. Supposedly, word is that it's going to be a Philadelphia street fight. And for me, I could see Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits coming out on top. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I kind of think the same thing. I feel like Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, are going to come out on top in this one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Authors of Pain were a pretty dominant tag team in their day, coming up from NXT as well. Karrion Kross, a former NXT champion, and he might have even been a U.S. champion on the WWE main roster at one point. But he really hasn't done much. I feel like a win for these guys would be big for them. So I think that it wouldn't surprise me if that something like that did happen. But to me, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits are the good guys. They're the ones that seem like they're going to be getting a big push going forward. So it would not surprise me if those guys pulled off a pretty big championship. I'm sorry, a pretty big win. Now, the only reason I said that is because um, a couple of fans think Bobby Lashley is key. I agree, but what's it called? So we got 3 championship matches left in. That's night 2, 3 big championships going down as we got right here the WWE Women's Championship, Io Sky and Bailey. Now, let's be honest. The other 2 matches we're going to get to are a little bit bigger, but this is going to be a really good technical wrestling match. Bailey coming up from NXT as well, just as Io Sky did. You can tell these are 2 wrestlers that Triple H really loves. Um, Bailey, I think she's one of the better technical wrestlers on the roster. Doesn't get a lot of credit for it. Obviously, Io Sky is a phenomenal performer, being the women's champion for quite some time now. What do you think about this match, Dan? I think a lot of people would kind of say it's clear cut that Bailey, who was thrown out unceremoniously of Damage Control just a few weeks ago, it kind of seems like that is the writing on the wall that she's going to win. That's who I'm going with, actually. But what do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I think that's probably going to happen. My gut feeling is that's gonna happen.
So you think that Bailey is going to get her revenge on Damage Control? Do you think the other girls from Damage Control, meaning Dakota Kai and the Kabuki Warriors, get involved in this match? Because I could definitely see them getting involved at some point, and just much like we're going to talk about Cody Rhodes in a second, just give Bailey one more thing to overcome in her championship victory.
Yeah, I just feel like that's gonna happen as well.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that, man. So all right, we're pretty much on point in this one. Yeah, so just to answer your question, Bobo, you do think Bailey gets her revenge, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think Bailey's gonna get her revenge on night 2.
Yep, yep. So there you go. All right, we got that match. 2 matches left to get to. Both the big championship matches, man. I mean, Seth Rollins wrestling for the first time since he defeated Jinder Mahal on Raw in January for the championship, where he injured his knee and I had to get surgery. He's missed the last couple of months. So, I mean, actually, the night before would have been his first match back, but this is his first time defending the World Heavyweight Championship since then. So it'll be Seth Rollins against Drew McIntyre. Let's not forget they just announced that one of the next pay-per-views is going to be Clash at the Castle over in Glasgow, Scotland, which where Drew McIntyre is from. So there's a lot of things pointing to possibly McIntyre winning, or maybe they'll have a rematch there at some point. What do you think, Dan? What's going to be the outcome of this match for the World Heavyweight Championship?
I just think this one's probably gonna be Seth Rollins. I feel like they want to go on that comeback angle, coming back from an injury. They always know everyone always loves a good comeback angle.
No, that's a good point. I could definitely see Seth Rollins winning because also too they're gonna want, maybe they have when CM Punk comes back, him and Drew McIntyre have a one-on-one match, maybe a number one contender type thing to lead up to that. So I could definitely see that. For me, I just feel like Drew is gonna win. I think Drew McIntyre has been doing a lot of great stuff lately that. For a long time, I found Drew McIntyre very boring and bland. And it seems like his personality has really come out over the last couple of months. I really love what I've seen out of Drew McIntyre. And he's really done a great job. So I think that's something that WWE is going to take some stock in. And hey, I mean, Seth coming back from injury after losing his championship now. That could be a storyline where Seth has to work his way back. They could have the whole CM Punk thing where now CM Punk has to take on the champion Drew McIntyre. So I feel like there's a lot of different ways they could go with it if Drew wins. So, what do you think about that, Dan?
Yeah, I think that's one also that could be a very realistic possibility. There is just so many possibilities they could go with this one, and it's gonna be an interesting next couple months.
Yeah, no, you're right, and it seems like the chat agrees with us that Drew McIntyre will finally get his WrestleMania moment, and he did, a couple of years ago get it, but unfortunately for him, it was in front of an empty audience. So, yeah, I think you're right about that.
Yep, and I think he definitely I think they owe it to him to have that moment in front of an actual real audience instead of a bunch of tiny little screens. I could tell you, I think when you see a lot of things without fans in the stands during 2020, WWE just did not look right without fans in the stands. Just did not look. Just WWE does not look right without an audience, and you could tell it by the way the wrestlers were. I just felt like the wrestlers probably it also didn't feel right. It just they feed off that energy from the fans, and it just that's one of the things that really did not look right during of all the pandemic versions of everything we saw, concerts, sporting events. I thought some of the WWE did not look right without fans in the stands.
Just to get sidetracked for a second before we get to the main event here, where we wrap up, can we just all agree that all sporting events that took place during the pandemic, don't replay any of that stuff? I don't want to see any of that crap. I don't want to see like the Mets every once in a while will replay a couple of games from 2020, like the one where Pete Alonso hit the walk-off home run against the Yankees and everything. Like I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Pete Alonso hitting a game-winning home run against an empty at an empty City Field, with literally nobody in the stands but cardboard cutouts. Can we all agree to just ban all that 2020 footage?
Yeah, that just did not feel right. It just felt depressing for so many reasons, especially not. I mean, the only year in my entire life not attending a single game. That alone made it not feel right. It just didn't feel right. Of course, I guess you could say, even though you could say technically I was there because my cutout was there.
That's true. That is true. Your cardboard cutout was there.
And
Yes.
he's pretty much reminding me right now because I'm actually looking at it right now in front of me. Cut out means reminding me that over there.
Oh man.
Because
Well,
I got to keep that cutout.
yeah, I remember when you got that. Actually, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
I could tell you a little funny story about that cutout before we go. Of course, back then Rosie was still alive, but both Rosie and Mr. Maloonigan had this confused look on their face when I walked home. I just wanted to see how they would react to just that cutout, just hold it right next to me, and they had this confused look, like, what? Is there two of them now?
oh my god. All right, well, let's get on to the main event here. And Bo, I guess the question is, do you think Cody finishes the story? I think that's the question right here. Everybody's been talking about it. This has been the thing ever since The Rock tried to quote unquote take Cody's spot when he came out and challenged Roman to the match at WrestleMania. Which, God, I wish we got that match. But hey, we got a pretty big match here as Cody won the Royal Rumble to set this rematch up from last year, WrestleMania 39, when Roman Reigns retained over Cody. Now we got the rematch, WrestleMania 40, undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Roman Reigns defends against Cody Rhodes. Dan, does Cody finish the story or not?
I just think probably Cody does finish the story. I just feel like everything's been setting up for this moment. Everything I've been seeing, everything that's been happening, it's setting up for this moment, and it's gonna happen. And hopefully it won't be a repeat of a couple of years back. I think it was 2018 when the Wi-Fi conked out during the main event. Hopefully this doesn't happen. I'll never forgive the people at who were in charge of the Wi-Fi that day for the Wi-Fi going down with that. I had to rewatch the whole thing to get to see it again. Because the Wi-Fi was petering. The Wi-Fi was petering out, on and off the whole broadcast.
That sucks. So what was that? 2018? You said?
Yeah, 2018. I was actually was at my place. I was invited to a viewing party, and the Wi-Fi was petering out. That I had to watch the whole thing twice because of that. They didn't quite plan there for the way to watch. They quite plan around that.
Oh, that stinks. But yeah, okay. So you know what? And as a matter of fact, I agree with you. Actually, I think that Cody Rhodes is going to finish the story, and he's going to beat Roman Reigns. I think it would be pretty shocking if Roman retained at this point. Although, let me ask you this, Dan. This is another little interesting sidebar we could get on here real quick before we get out of here. The Rock obviously is going to be involved in this match. If me and you both think that Cody is going to lose tonight, night one, and night two is going to be a Bloodline Rules match, we know that The Rock is going to be involved. Now, we both think that somehow Roman Reigns is going to lose this match and Cody's going to come out on top. But how would you think if The Rock is involved in screwing Roman Reigns out of the championship? What would you think about that?
I think that could be a really big surprise turn of events that realistically could happen.
Right? Because, I mean, at first, I was kind of thinking that Roman Reigns was going to be the one to screw The Rock, maybe even tonight or something like that. Or, I was thinking that somehow there would be a confrontation between the two that would be instigated by Roman Reigns. But I almost feel like The Rock is trying to lull Roman Reigns into a false sense of security, and he's going to strike when it matters most. And for some reason, I just feel like The Rock could be the reason. I mean, let's not forget, too, when The Rock hosted WrestleMania, I believe it was WrestleMania 27 in Miami, The Rock screwed John Cena out of the WWE Championship by rock bottoming him and allowing The Miz to get the cover for the win to retain the championship. Maybe we see something like that where The Rock gets involved and costs Cody the I'm sorry, and costs his cousin, the Tribal Chief, the championship that he's held for the last 4 years. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I just feel that's another one that could happen. That's gonna be another turn that could happen, and I feel either way it's gonna get a lot of buzz, and they're looking to get that moment that's gonna get a lot of buzz. Especially when you see the audience's reaction coming, it's gonna be coming into the first Raw after this whole thing.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it, Dan. And this is going to be. Let's not forget, this is the last Raw once again for the foreseeable future. The last Raw, the day after WrestleMania, that is going to be on regular TV. You know, obviously it's on cable now on USA Network, but as of the October 1st, they'll no longer be on regular TV. It'll be going to Netflix for 2025 and forward. So next year's WrestleMania, the day after Raw, is going to be on Netflix. So I mean, isn't that kind of weird to think about?
Yeah, it's also kind of weird to think about live broadcasts on Netflix. Like, I kind of wonder if that's going to work. I'm eager to see how that turns out. Like, what if there's going to be any bugs or anything that work in the system when this happens? Because I've seen other places try this whole live broadcast thing and it's gone well. But this one, I've seen it I've seen it work out really well with the live broadcast with the MLB when they've done this on Peacock, and I've seen it become disastrous with Amazon with their broadcasting of that the Yankees are more of a local broadcast on Amazon, but I've seen people complain about how the feed constantly lags, and I've heard people complain about a lot of lag during the NFL. I haven't really got to notice it because the local teams, because the NFL has to deal with the local teams, they always put the local games on TV, so you don't. So if you're in the area of the team you're watching, you don't have to worry about subscribing to Amazon to make sure to get every game. But I do hear Yankee fans complain about it with the Amazon feeds, and another one that I see a lot of lag on. I didn't get to see because Apple TV doesn't quite offer it for free anymore. The MLB broadcast for free. Was there any lag yesterday during the MLB broadcast?
To be honest, I did not watch one pitch of that game yesterday. I'm still very upset with the Mets, and I would have watched it if they were on regular TV, but because it was on Apple, I didn't even try to.
Yeah, I'm eager to see if I haven't seen many tweets about any lag, so I'm guessing there might not have been as much lag as I've seen in the past. Because I'm sure you've noticed it in the past with the Apple TV broadcast, the lag they have on and off a lot.
Yeah, it's been hit or miss, and usually it's been miss. And yeah, I'm with you on that.
So hopefully Netflix gets this right, because this might be probably the second real live broadcast, because I know the the first thing they're ever doing live broadcast is that big Mike Tyson fight that's coming up.
I forgot that's on Netflix. You're right. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. That'll be the first time I'll really get to see how a live broadcast on Netflix turns out, if there's lag or not.
Yeah, true. So everybody's going to have to buckle in for that next year at this time. If you want to watch any of that post WrestleMania stuff on Raw, you're going to have to be tuning into Netflix. So
Yup,
enjoy Monday night on USA Network while you can.
yep, exactly. And some people who don't have a subscription are gonna hope that they're part of somebody's shared account package. I I I I
Exactly.
I, I, I feel like if Seinfeld were around today, there'd be a whole episode about like Kramer taking putting Jerry taking keeping Jerry or removing Jerry from a shared Netflix account.
Yeah, oh, no doubt about that. You definitely hit the nail on the head with that one. And yeah, man. So just to wrap up, me and you both picked the undisputed champion Roman Reigns to lose to Cody Rhodes on night two. So yeah, a lot of good matches over the next 2 days. They had a pretty entertaining Hall of Fame ceremony last night. They had an NXT pay per view earlier today, which I didn't watch any of. I'm sure that was great. And so, Philadelphia, I'm sure, is buzzing right now from a professional wrestling standpoint. I hope everybody there is having a great time. The coverage right now is underway on Peacock. If you want to check that out, go over to Peacock. Me and Dan are wrapping up right now. Before we get out of here, Dan, you have anything you'd like to plug for yourself?
Sure, you could check out my YouTube account, Bobo103NYC, Instagram, Bobo718DK, same username on Threads. Also, there's some Bobo content on YouTube. It's one word, Daniel Curlin. There'll be plenty of Bobo content there for everyone as well.
Absolutely. Make sure to check Bobo out there. Also, don't forget on the bottom, you can check us out. There's the link to our Patreon, patreon.com/Best Seat in the House podcast. It's only $5 a month. It helps support us. And you get tons of stuff aside from just, the extra bonus episode we do every Sunday. We also give you Bobo's Trackside Minute, among other things, which is, Bobo's Trackside Minute, if you don't know, is Bobo talking about NASCAR. We just posted the most recent one this week, so make sure to check it out. Also, if you want, it's you could sign up and get a week free, cancel any time, just to check it out and see if you think it's worth it. So,
Yeah,
Ray, what do you think
exactly.
about that?
And you also get to see our main show live. More importantly, that's the big thing. You get to see that live. Plus, you get early access to all my YouTube videos that I post on YouTube. You guys get to subscribe are getting early access. So get the word out. Tell them you get early access to that, and you get to see our show live every Wednesday, one day earlier instead of Tuesday, and you get to see moments like how I kind of reacted to when at first that Rangers game didn't quite go as I wasn't going as I expected, but then in case you didn't see the rest of the game when you saw that live show, a spoiler alert, they went on to win that game.
That they did, my friend, just as they did last night. But you're right, that was an iconic moment. Your reaction to that, we're gonna have to clip that actually and put that out because that that was pretty good. Maybe we'll put like Limp Bizkit's break stuff behind that or something.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of that, if it comes down to a situation where the Rangers are one win away for the cup, maybe we need to figure out to make it some deal with Donovan or something to have a camera on us during the entire game. Like just have the camera on us the whole game so they could see our live reactions to that potential moment. Because I feel like that's something that they need to see our faces how we react to that.
We'll definitely be figuring that out. There will definitely be an emergency stream if the Rangers go on some kind of extended run like that. No doubt about that. But yeah, everybody. So thank you so much for tuning into our special WrestleMania 40 episode here of Best Seat in the House podcast. We want to thank everybody that tuned in. across the 3 platforms we streamed on. So thanks everybody for joining us. You can check us out on BSIF_podcast on X. Check us out on Instagram at Best Seat in the House Podcast, and check me out on Twitter or X at Cramer NY, my last name. So thank you once again, everybody, for tuning in. I'm Rob Cramer. This is my co-host Daniel Bobo Carlin, and we'll catch you tomorrow on Patreon or next week back on YouTube. Everybody, thanks for tuning in.